Jaguars fans, welcome back into the Fan Cave, man. It's week 10 of this National Football League season. I'm very excited. We have the Indianapolis Colts. We're paying them a visit this week in Indianapolis. It's going to be a huge divisional game there. I believe they're 4-5. We are 2-6. This is a huge opportunity for us, to catch a game up on them. We are ahead of the Texans right now. We are third in the division. This is a huge game in order to just kind of catch up a little bit. And in the division, obviously, I'm not saying this team has any real opportunity to make the playoffs, but wouldn't it be awesome to just see this team make some small bit of a run? They are currently 2-1 in their last three. Obviously, they started 0-5, so that really put a damper on the season. But hey, 2-1 in the last three up in Indianapolis against one of the worst passing defenses in the league. I said that against Seattle. Look how that bit me in the ass. But here I am saying the same thing. I'm really excited about this game, actually. I believe this is one of the games where we can actually see Trevor play his first full game. I'm talking 300 yards, 100 passer rating, 2-3 touchdowns, 0 interceptions, maybe sprinkle in 30, 40 yards rushing, and just his full first complete game that really lets the league know I am the best of this rookie class. Mac Jones isn't the best. Zach Wilson's absolutely not the best. Justin Fields, my God, he's running for his life in Chicago. Trey Lance can't find the field. So I want this game to be an opportunity for Trevor to say, I am the best in this class. Mac Jones can have his second seat. I'm first fiddle on this band. I'm going to lead us into the future. I'm going to be better than Joe Burrow. I'm going to be better than Herbert. All of them. I'm very excited for it. I think this game has a lot of opportunity for that. But one of the massive things that can help Trevor have one of these games is having James Robinson back. James Robinson went out in the first half against Seattle with a bruised heel, and he obviously didn't play last week against Buffalo. And man, what would that game have been if James Robinson had been in? But James Robinson is still averaging over 5 yards a carry. He's averaging 5.5 yards a carry. He has, I believe, 6 touchdowns on the year. And this will be a huge boost to this Jaguars offense. We're obviously getting Cam Robinson back as well. There's a lot of upside for this Jaguars offense with James Robinson returning, both the Robinsons returning, James and Cam both returning, as well as Walker Little played overall against Buffalo. It's good to have your starters back. And so I'm excited to see what this offense looks like once again, with Dan Arnold continuing to develop in this offense. He's going up against one of the worst defenses against tight ends, honestly. This is a defense that's allowed 6 touchdowns to tight ends, And so I'm very excited to see what that looks like as Dan Arnold is going up against a weaker secondary overall. The only downside is, if this Jaguars team had a very, very serviceable number one, I would absolutely say this Jaguars offense could have a good day. But with the fact that the Jaguars receivers have only scored 4 touchdowns to this point in this season, it's really a poor example to say of what wide receiver plays in Jacksonville. If you take out DJ Chark, they have 4 on the year. They have 6 total, and Jones has 3, Agnew has 1, Chark has 2. That is it. Those are the only receivers to catch touchdowns. Visca has just kind of disappeared, mainly, and when he's gotten good opportunity, he's fumbled it and dropped it. So it's a very weird, sad excuse for giving your rookie quarterback weapons, and it's absolutely a thing this team needs to address going into free agency, since the trade deadline is passed now. But I mentioned Cam Robinson coming back. Ben Bartch, he's been playing very, very well, in my opinion, with A.J. Cann being out. Obviously, like I said, you want to have your starters back. A.J. Cann has gotten better throughout the year, but at the end of the day, you want your starters back because, George Warhop, Darrell Bevel, and Urban have agreed that Cann is the better player between Bartch and Cann. Now, are we seeing Bartch develop, actually having time in the league, coming out of St. John's, and really getting used to and using those physical attributes that we saw him have while he was at St. John's? Are we actually starting to see those develop into NFL-level talent? I don't know, but I'm very happy with the way that Bartch has played while Cann has been out. Do I want Cann back in? Yes. But do I also want Bartch to continue to develop the way he has been? Absolutely. So if Cann doesn't play, I'm not going to boo-hoo about it, but I definitely still want all 5 starters out there. Brandon Linder, this is his first week actually back out on the practice field. He was in a very limited capacity, but Urban said he was back onto the practice field. So massive progress getting back your best offensive lineman with Brandon Linder. Unfortunately, this team doesn't. In my opinion, I'm starting to jump on that train of this team does need to find a better center, because you can't have Shatley starting over half the season thus far. Brandon Linder is a very, very good lineman, but you can't help the club in the top. That's the age-old adage, and it's just going to continue with the fact that this year he's been out for the majority of it as well. And I believe he got rolled up on, what was it, in London? But still, you can't have, no, it wasn't London, it was earlier than that. But you can't help the club in the top. I'm gonna leave it at that. But this is a Colts offensive line that is giving up almost 2 sacks a game. Hopefully, the good Josh Allen can have the kind of even half of the success that he had last week against the Buffalo Bills. It's been said so many times, 2 sacks, 1 forced fumble or 1 fumble recovery, 1 interception, 8 tackles, and it was just a massive game for Josh Allen. If he can keep those 8 tackles, maybe give me a sack or 2. I'm not even going to ask for the forced fumble or the fumble recovery or the interception. All I'm asking for is the tackles and the sacks. I believe that's very doable against an offensive line that is giving up 2 sacks per game. But who knows? Maybe Tavon Watch will take up another episode. Maybe Tavon Watch will, maybe he'll even surprise us more. Maybe he'll be the one with the interception. I don't know. I'm trying to speak good things into existence for our man Taven Bryan. He's had a tough, really, really tough go here in Jacksonville. But hopefully that Buffalo game was the light bulb going off above his head, and we can actually start to see some really, really good progress. The way we're seeing out of Barch, the same way with Taven Bryan. Now, this run defense is arguably going to be going up against one of the best rushing attacks that it's going to see all year. It's, you could say that, yes, they faced Derrick Henry, but Jonathan Taylor he's not on the same level, but he's at the same table as Derrick Henry. Derrick's obviously at the table, the head. Jonathan is sitting at that table, and I believe Jonathan Taylor has a better offensive line in front of him. So I would definitely. There's room to argue that this is the best running attack that this team has faced to this point. Jonathan Taylor has averaged over 110 yards in his previous 3 games. Now, this Jaguars defense has only allowed just over 70 yards per game rushing the ball. Now, I know I can hear you already. I heard this point made on Twitter. Jags Fan Cave, what are you talking about? They played the Dolphins. They played the Seahawks without Chris Carson. They played a Bills team that doesn't run the ball. Of course they're going to have low. But they're like top 7, top 8 in the league overall in rushing defense. And this is a team that's faced Derrick Henry. This is, they played a very they played a Cardinals team that has a lot going for it on the run game. Javonte Williams with Denver has been playing very well. They played good running backs. They played good running attacks, and they've played very well against those fronts. So this is a massive test for them. Urban and the rest of this staff put together a lot of work into rebuilding this run defense because, man, it needed a lot of work. And in my opinion, it's worked. They've done a lot to fix it, and it has been fixed, in my opinion. This secondary is what needs more help right now. And they're still playing very, very well. They're in the top 12 in the league in touchdowns allowed passing-wise. Shaq Griffin, he's been playing very, very well, in my opinion. He's, I believe, I saw a fantasy video the other day put out by Yahoo where they were talking about the Shaq Griffin effect, where they basically went down the line of, DeAndre Hopkins, AJ Green, AJ Brown, the litany of receivers that Shaq Griffin has covered this year in their stat lines. They have been very, very mediocre and not a very good fantasy day for them. Bad fantasy days normally mean bad real days. Sometimes you can have a really good fantasy day and a mediocre day, but no, bad fantasy days mean bad real days. And Michael Pittman is more than likely going to be their number 1 wide receiver for the Indianapolis Colts. So hopefully, they can really Shaq can just blanket Michael Pittman, who's a second-year wide receiver. And, he didn't do a whole lot last year, but this year he's kind of starting to come into his own the same way Barch is. And so if Shaq Griffin can shut that down, make this Colts team struggle to find some more things offensively, really, obviously they're going to try to use Jonathan Taylor as the bulk of their offensive load. And if they can really just make that one-dimensional, take away Jack Doyle, take away Michael Pittman, really just limit this Colts offense to just Jonathan Taylor, hopefully this Jaguars team will have a better have a better chance of like a performance like they did last week. Just a really stifling, stringent defense that they've shown that they can be, And so on to the special teams, man. Matthew Wright needs to get his life together, and he needs to get it together quickly. And because if he goes out there and kicks the same way he has been, he's gonna find himself in the Jaguars kicking graveyard the same way Josh Lambo did. I have no sympathy for kickers. You're a kicker. It's not like you're reading offenses. It's not like you're reading defenses. It's not like you have gap control. You don't need to know who you're guarding. Your job is literally to just nod at the holder and kick the ball. I understand that it's an incredibly hard thing to do. It's a thing that most teams struggle to find competent, quality kickers. Yes, I'm not saying I could go out there and do it, but I'm also not getting paid millions of dollars to do it. So Matthew Wright needs to get his life together, needs to get it together quickly, or this team is going to just be going on to the Jacksonville University or the UNF soccer team and say, hey, here's a helmet, kick this little weird oval ball through the yellow things. And I feel like because college teams do it all the time. They go onto the soccer team. High school teams do it. They go onto the soccer team, find a guy. Why doesn't the NFL take that approach? Go find some dude out of the MLS that's a little bit washed up. Hell, that's where Josh Lambo came from. Josh Lambo was a goalie in Major League Soccer, and then goes to college, learn how to kick a football, gets picked up by San Diego, becomes an All-Pro in Jacksonville. It can be done. MLS people fall out all the time. Go find one of them. I don't care. I'm ranting about a kicker that missed 3 from 42 last week. Oh, what the heck is going on with Jacksonville? Ultimately, this game is a 10.5 point spread towards the Colts. They're minus 10.5, and Am I really gonna pick the Jaguars to win this? Man, this is on the spot. I don't even have it in my notes. The Jaguars' final score this week. Oh, to hell with it. I'm gonna do it. 21-20 Jaguars. It's 1 point. Yeah, 21-20 Jaguars. They cover, and they win 3 of their last 4. They beat the Colts. They beat a divisional game. They win for their first time in a long time in Indianapolis. And it's going to be off the back of Josh Allen, and it's going to be off the legs of James Robinson again. They're going to hopefully. I think they're really going to have a lot of success on the ground. The Jaguars are, with James Robinson being back, Cam Robinson being back, and then I think it's going to be the Josh Allen show again. So I know I'm probably going to get some slack from Colts fans, but hey, it is what it is. And 21-20 final prediction right there. It's going to be a Jaguars day, and I think the Colts are going to try to rear back at the very end. But with that being said, thank you so much for watching. Stay safe and go Jaguars.